Hello there. I'm going to take a second just to show you how to find your transverse abdominis muscle. This is such an important muscle in core work and stabilizing your spine. It is the muscle that acts as our internal girdle. So it starts around this area, it wraps to our spine, and it stabilizes at the deepest layer of our abdominal muscles. And it's very important to protect our spine. But working it can sometimes be a challenge, and sometimes we don't do it appropriately. Often you'll hear in fitness classes or videos like you want to engage your TA or your TVA, which is great. It's perfect advice, but often we don't know how to do it. I only know what it is and how to do that because I went to school to learn how to do that. So this video will just show you how to find it and make sure you're working your transverse abdominis appropriately. So what you want to do is find your hip bones here. The front of your hip bone here, there's a big prominence. It's kind of flat. It's called your ASIS. You don't need to know that. And then you're going to take about 2 inches medial or towards your belly button. From that, move your fingers in about 2 inches from that hip bone. And then you just want to make sure you're also a little bit south of your belly button. So wherever your belly button is, about 2 finger widths south of that. And then you kind of draw that line between 2 inches off your hip bone, 2 fingers south of your belly button. And that's where you'll palpate or you'll find your transverse abdominis. So here, let's make sure we know how to use it. So come on down to your back, and I'm keeping my hand in that position, or you can find it again on your back. And what you're gonna do from here is the cue I like to give people, and you'll hear this a lot, is pull your belly button towards your spine. So think about somebody kind of inside your belly, your belly, and pulling it from the inside down, flat towards your spine. As you do that, you might feel the TA muscle pop. You might feel it engage. If that's not quite enough for you to feel it, if you need a little bit more cueing, you can think about gently, very gently, rotating your pelvis backwards. But not so much where you're doing like a full posterior pelvic tilt, where you're pushing through your heels and really jamming your back flat. That's too much. So it's just a very gentle rock. I almost like to think about kind of the pubic bone area pulling just up towards the belly button. It's so subtle, it's so small, but that's how you'll get the engagement of the transverse abdominis. So think belly button in, down towards your spine, and then that little tilt back. As you do that, go back to your palpation point, 2 inches off of the ASIS and a little bit south of your belly button. You should feel the muscle contract under your fingers. Now, don't be frustrated if you can't get it right away. It's actually not that easy to do. If you have never done this before, it will take a little bit of work to be able to find and fire up that muscle. But once you get it, you'll know because you'll be able to feel it. You should be able to breathe while you're doing it. And then at that point in time, you want to use that contraction as you do advancement in core work. So if you're adding arm work, leg work, whatever it is to challenge your core, just make sure that you have that good contraction of your transverse abdominis before you progress. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for joining me. Work your core, but make sure you're working it in a safe way and that you're really engaging the transverse abdominis appropriately before you progress. Thank you so much.